everybody. Welcome back to that was a little aggressive for me, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's okay. Just go with it.
Just leave this in. Yeah.
Whiskey.
Oh, I'm only 3 sips in. It's fine. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Quiet Riot Show. I'm Tim. This is Tommy across from me. We're doing another episode here, and we're talking to Travis Ridgen. Is that pronounced correctly? Ridgen?
Yeah, that is. Hi, everybody. I'm Travis, and I'm an alcoholic.
No, he's not. Well, maybe you are. I don't know.
We'll get to that.
Travis it's podcast day today. We just finished doing another person's podcast before this.
That's right.
And now we have a podcast guest and hockey player. What do you want to be first?
I like the pro hockey title. I know Dave gives me shit for it, but like you get way more intricate looks from being a professional hockey player than a podcaster or a vlogger.
Yeah,
I like
fair.
podcaster over vlogger because I feel like being a vlogger or like a YouTube vlogger still has this stigma of like being like Logan Paul, like, hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another. And it's like so cringy.
Smash that fucking like button.
Oh, my God. Smash that like button if you're into it and ring that bell. Shut the fuck up. I'll do it on my terms, not yours.
Yeah, this is my show, and I'll say what I want.
Yeah, like on the podcasting side though, because I feel like with like the Joe Rogans and the Collar Daddies and the like all the other podcasts that have just exploded, it's become like I think people realize like that's like a professional thing to do. So pro hockey player, podcaster, vlogger, and TikToker last of all.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you do the dances too?
I don't do the dances, but I post on TikTok, and some are my TikTok comment section is insane, dude. Ever since I got traded last month, the trolls have come out of the woodworks. I swear, all my ex-girlfriends have like 10 burner accounts and just like spamming away. I told you to quit. You didn't wipe the toilet seat either down. Fuck, the toilet seat. Again.
With the goddamn seat.
Any publicity is good publicity, right?
As long as you're watching, baby, that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, and TikTok, I mean, as much as bad it sounds sometimes, like because like people see TikTok and it's all about usually girls dancing to doing the crazy moves or whatever, but like it is actually a really good platform to grow a business as well. And if you're able to go live, you can actually make a shit ton of money too.
I just think it's stupid.
But again, if it's used properly, you can really make tons of money on there.
Okay, well, if you ever ask me to do anything really on TikTok, you can fuck right off.
I will.
Go ahead, Travis.
You know what I found really interesting on TikTok? And I try my best to avoid the mindless scrolling because I found that TikTok, as somebody who posts on there, has destroyed my attention span in real time. But like there's so many podcasts that come across my For You page. And just watching how they put together clips, because this is one podcast I follow specifically called the Unhinged Podcast. And it's these two degenerate chicks just talking about getting crushed all the time. And like the context, in all seriousness, isn't my cup of tea, but they've done an incredible job to post clips that are getting like 1 million, 10, 15 million views, generate 100,000 followers, and bring them over the podcast. And now on the video version, they're only bringing in like maybe like 500 to 1,000 viewers. But pulling that over from TikTok is incredible when the attention span is like 5 seconds and they're willing to listen to a 45-minute show.
And it's translating a lot of inspiration.
That, Exactly. So I take a lot of inspiration like watching that type of stuff, and how do I take that business model and apply it to like me and Wheeler's show, or like even like my blog on YouTube. Obviously, like I mentioned, the attention spans have been destroyed in real time, so it is difficult to convert a lot of people.
Yeah.
But trying my best to do that on TikTok.
Okay. So you're a pro hockey player. You are the creator and host of Slangin The Bizkit, which is I'm a hockey related podcast. And vlog, I guess, are they both? I guess they go hand in hand.
Are they related? Yeah, like your vlogging is related to hockey.
Yeah. So essentially, the concept is my YouTube vlog documents could be day to day, week to week, month to month life through professional hockey, whether it's during the season, in training camp, traveling for games, or 6 months this season or this year where I was recovering from my cam hip surgery.
Yep.
So documenting that like my vlog encapsulates like everything of my life. There's elements of my personal life to it as well, but I try to keep like real personal stuff out of it because I don't think that it doesn't provide context or value or like an understanding for people. And it's more of like a bring you into my life, bring you like visually and feeling wise into the moment that I'm living. The podcast is kind of a side project, a spinoff of that, where here's the longer format of the video that I'm going to tell you in a sit down conversation. And obviously, Tommy, you know Dave, and Dave is incredible at what he does with producing shows, and I have bad ADHD, so him keep me on the tracks with what I'm doing is so critical for us being successful. But the podcast is the long form version of the blog in telling format plus stories of maybe like dates I've gone on, or different stories about Winnipeg or pop culture or music or just stuff like that. So that is essentially the business model behind the both of them.
Cool. Yeah, Dave is an unbelievable quarterback. Is how
he's
I refer to him
as
because I do the we both do the show with Dave and on a weekly basis, and like with Dave there, it doesn't go off the rails as much as it would without Dave.
It does, but like he
reels it back in though.
Able to get us back on track.
He's a pro. Yes. Well, he's a fucking pro. Like he knows what he's doing. He's got tons of experience.
He's been doing it for like 20 years, and like I can tell you firsthand. Like I started Slangin The Bizkit. It was my podcast, my concept in April of 2021, or maybe March of 2021. And I had a guy that I was doing it with for about a year. And we got a little bit of traction, but it never really took off because we were just two hockey bros shooting the shit, slinging the biscuit, if you will. And it just didn't catch the way that I had envisioned, and I guess ultimately like the vision that I wanted to take the podcast creatively, visually, conceptually, growth wise. And then I essentially canned that guy. I was like, hey man, like this ain't working. Took like a month or two off just to kind of like figure out what I wanted to do. Dave and I, by fate, Dave had been watching my YouTube vlogs. I've been listening to his morning show for like 10 years. Like, hey, do you want to help me out with the show? Yeah, he's like, I can't talk about hockey the way that I want to on my morning show, so sure, I'll come on and do it. I love talking hockey. He played hockey. He's a hockey guy. Did 4 or 5 episodes. It was a smashing success. We're pulling in thousands of views. And I just said, let's do this full time. Let's see if we can, like, there's not a lot of money coming in, but would you be willing to? And yeah, he's like, yeah, sure. And now we're at the point where, knock on wood, we are finalizing a network deal this week for the show, coming week.
We got a little teaser of that earlier today. Maybe he wasn't supposed to talk about it, but when we recorded our episode of the Wheeler After Dark show, he talked about that. So congratulations, man. That's amazing. Your numbers are exceptional. Like
thank you very much.
What does that feel like for you? Like you start these things like we did, and you start hoping one fucking person will listen. Like, just is somebody going to download this? Is anybody going to want to hear what I have to say?
Well, I guess why did you start Slangin The Bizkit?
Why did I? I was trapped at home in COVID in Winnipeg. I had nothing to do. I'd actually done. I for the last like 2 years made fun of people with podcasts. Like, oh, you're a loser. You have a podcast? Make a vlog, you nerd. And then spending enough time in my basement or in my apartment, I guess at the time. And I did an interview with the guy that I was going to do the podcast with. He had me on his show. We had some chemistry. It was his most listened to episode. And I was like, why don't we do a show? I got some things I want to talk about in long format that I just wouldn't put on my blog. And that was what we kind of built on, of like telling his story, my story, longer format vlog stuff. And then when Dave joined with me, it was like, okay, well, I have lots of stuff I can tell. Dave has a lot of experience that he can help me narrate that and keep it on the tracks. And Dave also has amazing stories as well.
Yeah, he does.
So we can do that. And he's got a great voice as well.
Yeah, he's like a walking encyclopedia.
Yeah. Right? Well, and he has hockey history. I mean, maybe if he didn't go blind, he might have made it further. But
I bug him sometimes. I call him the Cyclops, the one-eyed devil, or whatever. He's kind of like Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump. Right?
That's right. Yeah.
Except he hasn't got his new legs
on
his
left side. He can't hear you.
So you got into this podcast hoping to say what? What did you want out of that for you?
I wanted to share my story in a more detailed version, because I'd known. I was going through my first-hand experience that what I put in the vlog doesn't tell the real full story. And like, what if I actually just told you the full story? Because minor pro hockey is so scummy, dude. It is. I like goaltending a lot. I wouldn't say I love it anymore, because the business side of hockey has just really tainted my perception of it and really put a distaste in my mouth for hockey, especially with the business side. And I wanted to tell that on the podcast, but like combining that with Dave's encyclopedia of knowledge. I mean, even like this week, we were talking about Dog the Bounty Hunter. He knows everything about Dog. Talking about the Fort Garry Hotel where he got married, the Winnipeg trades. You name it, Dave knows something about it. Plus his hockey stories too.
So you got into this to tell your story. What is So I know another guy who I think has taken a similar path to you. He's a goaltender, so he's a fucking weirdo, and he tried to make a thing out of it. He lives in Montana now. I think he's sort of done with hockey on the pro level now. And he's got, when I talk to him about that journey of trying to make it big or make the show or whatever you want to call it, it's hard, man. Holy fuck. Like, you guys go through some shit.
I think the one thing that people don't actually understand, especially if you look at my comment section, there's so much delusion to this. Because I would consider myself the most accessible professional hockey player on the planet. Like, nobody is more accessible than I am because of the vlog, the Instagram, all this type of stuff. But at the professional level, everybody is good. So, like, when we have 3 goalies, I am good. The guy ahead of me is good. The guy beside, like, everybody is good. And there's a very small difference in detail as to, like, what makes me better than him or him better than me, or et cetera, et cetera. But to get to that level, most people don't understand that. And so when everybody's very good and anybody can do the job on any given night, for the most part, now we're talking about the business side. What does the coach like about you on or off the ice? What financially is motivating them? Ultimately, like, do the fans like you because they want to put asses in the seats? And are there ulterior motives behind it? Because you are literally, I was trying to explain this to, I was on a date yesterday. I was trying to explain this to this female because she couldn't grasp this, but, like, you are an asset until you are no longer an asset. And when you are an asset, we kind of care about you. Make sure your shoulder's good. Make sure your hip's good. Can you play? The second you're not an asset, see ya. Like, when I got my hip surgery last year, I didn't hear sweet F all from anybody in my team until May, end of April, beginning of May. The only reason was there was an expansion draft, so they were about to lose my rights potentially. No, like, nobody was like, hey, how'd the hip surgery go? How you feel? Like, because I'm not an asset anymore.
Yeah.
Like, they don't care about me, and I don't mean this. I don't like sound like a victim, but you're an asset or you're not an asset, and that's the ruthlessness of professional hockey. The second you're not useful, and nobody cares.
And is the reality of that something that you have to carry with you every single day, every minute, every practice, like, does everybody feel that way, where it's just like, fuck, if I don't create some value for myself here or create my own value, I'm fucked?
Yes and no. I think everybody deep down knows that is the case. Like, I could be performing great. 'Cause I think I'm a very skilled goaltender. I'm a skilled player in the grand scheme of professional hockey. But they can release me at any point in time. There could be a guy coming down from the league above. I'm gone. Coach don't like me for whatever reason. Fans don't like me, whatever. The commissioner's trying to get me out of the league because he doesn't like that I said you shouldn't be allowed to beat your wife and play professional hockey at the same time. It's a true story.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things going on at the same time, but I've found personally, and I've taken some heat for talking about this, when you embrace the mentality of, like, I don't care anymore, and detach from the actual process, it is so healthy. Because I have anxiety and a good amount of like bad ADHD, OCD. And so, like, earlier in my life, like, that shit would just eat me up. Am I going to play? Am I not? All these insecurities. And then it was like, well, I know I'm good. I don't really care what you think. I'm going to play or I'm not going to play. There's 2 very simple answers. And at the end of the day, goaltending is a position where, yeah, you have to be good, obviously, but there's so many external factors that dictate your success. If the defense don't show up, you're fucked. If the opposition brings their best, you could be fucked.
Yeah.
If and in goaltending too, like, if you're off by an inch, like, not even an inch, like an eighth of an inch, puck's in the net.
Yeah.
You get a piece of the puck, goes in the net. You get a piece of the puck, rebounds off the wrong side. The guy gets the puck, makes a pass, boom, it's in the net. Like, it's so intricate.
Yeah.
It's so, like, you need so much to go right for you at any point in time that when you start stressing about it, you just become a giant ball of anxiety. And I found letting go of that makes it so much more enjoyable. If it is enjoyable, it makes it easier to do that. And I think that a lot of guys at the level would definitely agree, because they know that there's a shelf life to them. That I have a shelf life to me. They have a shelf life to them. And we're going to be gone one day. And there's going to be a day where the guys signing my paychecks don't care about me no more. Could be right now. You know what I mean? It could be alive in the moment. They're going to release me today, tomorrow. Like, it's going to happen.
So I'm assuming a lot of these intricacies, and how much of coming up through the process to get to where you are kind of taught you about what to prepare yourself for? Was there preparation for this, like the business side, the mental aspect of exactly what you just spoke about? Like, was that something that you were prepped and like ready for when you got to the level you were at, or does it happen slowly throughout the process of growing up and playing hockey and being? Obviously, you were one of the best hockey players on your teams all through your childhood and growing up to get to where you are today.
The thing is that I wasn't. I was very, like, middle of the pack. And I think, just to deviate slightly for a second, I think one of the reasons why what I do is so relatable and so liked and or hated with no middle ground for so many people is because I don't have an overwhelming skill set outside of I'm just a big guy that has kept me around playing hockey, and I just refuse to take no for an answer. I'm like, all right, you tell me no, all right, I'll go somewhere else. Tell me no, all right, I'll just keep going.
Yeah.
Because eventually the door will open somewhere. And then also the branding side of I'm just an idiot who decided to press record on a camera and upload on YouTube. That's it.
Yeah.
Like I self-taught myself how to edit videos, and I know how to fly a drone.
Yeah.
That's it. I film my shit on an iPhone 12 mini. And I think when people with more skills see that, or people that quit too early see that, I hold the mirror back up to them and they get enraged because they're like, fuck, I'm working construction. I'm working at McDonald's. I work for the transit company. I want to be playing professional hockey. Fuck this guy. I'm going to leave a nasty comment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? like me and Dave broke down this process the other day, but the process of you're on your phone consuming content. You come across my stuff, you like it, so you digest it. You digest it to a point where you invoke a feeling out of yourself to say, I'm going to leave a comment, but not just, am I going to leave a comment? I'm going to wreck this guy's day and tell him how I really feel. Hate only comes from down the ladder, which is sad. You never see somebody dropping shells from above you, only shooting up. That makes sense. The crabs in the bucket. To answer your other question, though, I was never the best growing up. I was very middle of the pack, as I just explained. Nobody prepared me for this. This was all firsthand. Like my dad never played hockey growing up. Like my dad built me an outdoor rink when I was a kid. And to give you an idea of what kind of player my dad was, he would shoot pucks on me in steel toe boots. He was a better shooter with boots on than skates.
Yeah.
Like he'd have like the steel toes like that thick, and he'd be winding up clappers, and he wouldn't have hockey gloves on. He'd have like workers mitts and then shooting with one of my sticks. But like, oh, broke another one. All right, son, go get a new stick. But that was the environment that I was in growing up, and like my dad had no knowledge of the business side of hockey or hockey in general, so everything was really firsthand. And dude, I made a lot of mistakes, especially early on, trying to figure that kind of stuff out. Of detaching from the result, like I mentioned to you. What actually is being a good pro, being a good teammate about. Because like you want your goalie partner to choke on 1,000 bags of dicks and die because I want to get in the net, realistically speaking. However, that attitude and that mentality is not healthy because that energy, it like taints the air. It's like sticky. And if I'm in the room with that energy in that environment, guys don't want to play for me. If I genuinely hope the best for my teammate, everybody wins. He wins, I wins, the team wins, and then I get better energy from the guys as well when I go in the net.
Yeah.
So, and also, I don't have any control of what that guy's doing. He could suck, he could be great. It's all totally up to him. So, I might as well just let the process unfold the way that it is and worry about myself. That was very, very difficult to learn, especially when you're not seeing success. I couldn't stick in junior A the way that I wanted to. I couldn't get the opportunity in college hockey that I wanted to. Even in pro hockey, not getting the opportunities I want to. It's like, man, why am I not playing? Well, it's like, well, I need a lot of external factors to work in my favor as well. Like I can be prepared, but I need some help. Realistically, it's up to God. My goal as a kid was always to play professional hockey. When I was like 10, 11 years old, my dad would pull me out of school early, bring me to like these like figure skating classes. And I'd do them in hockey skates, and I'd be doing them while everybody else was in school. I'd be like, man, this is awesome. I wish I could do this every day of my life as an adult. And I get to do that, and I've accomplished that goal. I haven't necessarily had the success and longevity and track record that I wanted to, but I played professional hockey for 4 years now, and I've absolutely accomplished that goal and lived my childhood dream every single day of it.
Yeah, well, and you've capitalized on that opportunity to create something else for yourself out of that. Like if you didn't try as hard as you did and get to where you are, regardless of the level of success that you've attained or not attained in your own mind, you've created something through that is now bringing you value. And so like you created the vlogging and then you did the podcast and you're becoming something because of your professional abilities in hockey. So whether those abilities are being shown on the ice or on YouTube or Apple Podcasts or whatever, that's because of your education and because of what you did with hockey.
Well, so I want to this is kind of relating to what you just said, but I want to unwrap a little bit more because when people say pro hockey player, I think first thought comes to everyone's mind is, oh, you're playing the NHL. But there's different levels of pro hockey life, right? And I'm always curious to how much work goes into playing at pro hockey level where you are, and when somebody's at the NHL, and you're kind of, I don't know if you have to work harder to get to the NHL level or less, I'm not sure, but or the same as where you're at. But now you've developed something, and once that hockey career ends, I imagine that there's lots of players that maybe feel stuck a little bit, like, okay, what do I do with my life right now? And like, because where you're at right now, you've kind of developed something else, like the vlogging and the podcast. Like when your hockey career ends, at whenever that's going to happen, like you have something going on already, and you're actually setting up for your future while you're doing something that you absolutely love. And, you know, it's hopefully it's going to bring you more income now. Where you're at.
I've tried to keep that very front of mind during this entire process, because like you said, when guys retire from hockey, they lose their identity. You know, like you go to a job interview. Let's say you guys are interviewing me. Okay, well, Trav, what do you bring to the table? Well, I can chip the puck out off the glass. I can stop the puck behind the net. I can pull it 3 feet off the boards, leave it for the defenseman on the strong side. You know what I mean? Like I can call out plays, right? I can make a big save. Like you can't apply that into the workforce, realistically speaking. And so guys lose their identity. They're like, morning skates at 10. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it's just so disheartening for a lot of guys, because that's their entire identity for their entire life. That's all they've been told is they're a hockey player. And I've tried to differentiate from that, because when the day comes, and it could be today, it could be, you know, whenever that, you know, hockey is done. Yes, I lose my identity as a hockey player, but I've really, really tried the last, especially 6 months, cognizantly for about 2 years, but it's really hard the last 6 months of building my identity and my portfolio post hockey, because it's coming sooner than I'd probably like to admit. And having like my podcast go as big as it has so far, again, I've been so blessed for that success. That is one avenue. I have filmmaking avenues that I could absolutely explore from doing my vlog. I have all these incredible time lapse and drone video of like all the places I've traveled, put them up on a stock footage website. I have a plethora of goaltending knowledge that I can use to make a goalie coaching company, instead of being in person, do it remotely online. Like I have so many things that I can do. And ultimately, my identity is defined by myself and nobody else. Like, you don't define me. The internet doesn't define me. Dave, only I define who I am as a person. And I get to ultimately create that character and upgrade that in whatever way, shape, or form that I feel fit. I don't think that being a hockey player is my identity at this point in time, because I have detached from that quite a bit, if I'm being quite honest with you. I think I identify more trying to be a good person. And I know that sounds incredibly virtuous, and I don't mean for it to come across that way, or goodwill hunting, but so many guys in the hockey, so many guys in the Goodwill, or the Goodwill store, in the hockey world, all they focus on is hockey. I don't think they actually focus on what do they bring to the world outside of the game. And I would like to break that stereotype a little bit. If that makes sense.
Hey, Tommy, among all the episodes we've recorded, you know, there's one common theme, and that's getting therapy. We've talked about it lots.
Many times.
You had a really tough time making that first phone call. I had a tough time making that first phone call. I didn't even know if the person I was going to see was the right person, but you got to just try. Thank goodness we have a sponsor that makes it way easier now. BetterHelp has an online platform that allows you to fill out a questionnaire. They connect you with a therapist, and you get to communicate with them however you want. So whether that's text messaging, that's emails, that's through their app, that's video chats, you get all those options, and it makes it way less scary to be connected with someone. And if you're not into the person you talk to, they'll sign you another one right away. I've gotten assigned mine already, and I can't wait to use it. Like, by the time you hear this, I will have had my first session, and I'm super pumped to talk about it on the show.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it, and like, it's very easy to sign up. It took us maybe 5 minutes to sign up, and you answer just simple questions, and next thing you know, you got a message that you will be paired up with a therapist, and within the same day, we got the therapist already, the name and a message from them, and we were able to communicate with them. So it's extremely easy. So please go to BetterHelp.com. Yeah, that's the thing. BetterHelp.com/Quiet Riot Show, and you get to also enjoy 10% off for your first month if you sign up using this link. So again, right here, I'm going to be doing it from here. Yeah, it's BetterHelp.
Am I screwing it up?
.com/Quiet Riot Show. Yeah, sign up today, and you're not gonna regret it because I'm already enjoying it. Just the fact that we connected with a therapist.
Me too, man.
Thank you to BetterHelp for supporting this podcast.
Do you find, like, you've been around a lot of different players, like you have a very big gauge on what the, not a stereotype, but what the general consensus would be? How many other guys in your experiences, in your travels, in your teams think the way you do? How many like-minded people are there for yourself?
I would say none that I've come across.
Okay.
No.
If I'm being fully honest,
Yeah,
I think like when I'm with the team, for example, my last team in Mississippi, we go to morning skate. I like to wake up a little earlier to kind of get prepared, like make my coffee, get a little lacrosse ball rolling in, hydrate, I'm ready to go, have some me time. But when we come back to the house after practice, the guys go right to hitting the bong, playing video games, watching TV, drinking, hanging out with chicks, and like I like having fun as well.
Yep.
But I'm solely focused on how can I take this opportunity that I'm sitting in and make the most of it. Like I'm literally trying to take apples and turn it into asparagus. Like, you know what I mean? And guys don't understand why I'm on my laptop all day after practice. Why are you editing? Because I'm trying to build the brand. I'm trying to build some wealth. I'm trying to build some stability post career. Because contrary to what the internet thinks, I haven't been very fortunate to been fully supported by my parents my entire life. I've been on my own since I was like 19. A lot of guys that I play with, they live at home during the summers, parents' money, savings, right? Like they're extremely privileged, and I don't think they see the full picture. Yeah. They don't get fully what I'm doing. And I think I don't have a lot of friends, just generally speaking, because I don't want to surround myself with people that don't think the same way that I am. Like I went for lunch the other day with a guy by the name of Adam Bell in Vancouver. He's a Vancouver-based YouTube vlogger. He also has a real estate business. Like he is trying to become an incredible influencer, trying to build his business and be a better man. I'm trying to do the same, but in different ways. And great men build great men. So when we go to lunch, what am I doing that's making me great? What are you doing that's making you great? What are we doing that's not so great? And let's have a powwow, a kumbaya moment, and make each other better. Mm-hmm. And I find it very difficult in the hockey world to find people that think like that, because I don't think they see that far ahead. And maybe that comes across as arrogant, but they just don't see past hockey.
The foresight isn't there.
And are they like the same age, or are they maybe younger, and maybe that's why they're not thinking the same way as you are necessarily?
It could be younger. They could be the same. It could be older. Mm-hmm. Kind of a mix of everything.
Okay.
What I know is that I don't want to be playing professional hockey at 30, 35, 40 because I have no money. I have nothing else that I know how to do. I have no skill sets. Yeah. And this was so perfectly encapsulated. We were driving to the rink for morning skate in Mississippi. We carpool like 4 or 5 guys. And one of the guys says, "Hey, do I put my hockey pictures on my dating bio?" And we just kind of looked at him like, "Of course you do. Like, why wouldn't you? Right? Like, that's a card. You want to play that hand." Yeah. It's like, well, I realize I don't have a personality outside of hockey, and I'm afraid if all my pictures are hockey, the chick's gonna know I have no personality outside of hockey, and it's not gonna go anywhere. And like that is literally what I'm talking about. You have nothing outside of hockey that you offer or know how to be. Now, granted, you are a hockey bro. Be the best goddamn hockey bro you can be, and I'm sure there's a demographic for that. However, I want to have more versatility in my portfolio than that, and I want to bring more to the table than just being a hockey bro, which I don't consider myself a hockey bro. Although I was told last night that I do sound and talk like a hockey bro, so
I mean, wear that one. If you do it long enough, it's going to happen.
the hockeyisms do come out whether you like it or not.
If you live in England long enough, you'll pick up an accent. Like it's going to happen.
Well, you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether you like it or not, you welcome that energy, and you become that energy sooner or later, as you said.
So what do you use for yourself? What are some things you do for yourself to take care of your mental state, to block out the noise, because I'm sure there's noise. I'm sure there's lots of noise getting in your way or trying to get in your way. What do you do to block that out? And I'm not talking about on the ice. I'm talking about off the ice.
Of course. I think I put all of it into the same category because there's a very small pool of people that I actually care about their opinion, and the rest I don't allow them to penetrate my mind because they don't have my best interest in my heart or at their heart. Mm-hmm. I know there's a few people that do generally care about my best interests, and that's why I care about their opinions. But the rest is noise. I used to think it's good to kind of get a pulse on that because it gives you a good balance. And you guys know who Matt Murray is, goalie for the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Yep.
So he's a good friend of mine. We were sitting down having dinner this summer, and he was saying to me, he doesn't look at any media about himself, negative or positive. And I said to him, I was like, why not? It's good to have a little bit of a, like I said, a pulse in the vibe. And he's like, I don't want nobody swaying my reality. Like my reality is strong.
Yeah.
I don't want no keyboard warriors, no nerds in the Toronto Sun skewing my perception. I don't want people thinking that I'm God skewing that. And I didn't understand that until I got traded 2 months ago. And I was like, now I understand why he said that, because all the shit that I'm taking and all the, the hot cold contrast, this isn't healthy. Let's just completely bypass that and just focus on the people that I value, and my own opinion as well, because I like to think I have a very good sense of reality, and I'm okay being imperfect. So just it doesn't hold any water, anybody else's opinions.
What about your own personal, I guess, goals and feelings? Like, as I assume as a kid growing up playing hockey, and obviously your goal was to get to the top, right? Mm-hmm. And I think we're sometimes our own worst critics. I know when I try to do something to perfection and then I fail, I tend to like beat myself up, and I'm just like, fuck it, I'm not good enough, and I'm just gonna stop doing it. Did you ever reach any of that point? And if so, how did you overcome that?
We're about to get really deep here. Okay. So this is very, very difficult to grasp. I have always been my own worst critic. I had a very tough upbringing. Like my dad was very, very hard on me as a kid. And I think that brought out a lot of self-accountability and self-responsibility, which is great. But ultimately beating myself up and being my own worst critic, and realizing in the past like 6 months-ish of working through therapy and some other things, it's not constructive to beat myself up. Mm-hmm. Guilt and shame are only healthy before an action happens, never after. Like nobody wins if you guilt somebody after. Yeah. But before, it's like, hey, if you eat that pizza that I just bought, it's not good. Okay, I will shame you so that you don't do it, as opposed to after you do. Nobody wins. And so let's say that the podcast isn't doing as well, or I'm not performing as well. Instead of beating myself up, let's look constructively. Okay, what have I done that's good? What have I done that's bad? Let's look objectively for how can we troubleshoot the problem, and not taking it as personally. Because I'm just one cog here. I'm human and I'm imperfect. Mm-hmm. Because if you beat yourself up, you become your own self-fulfilling prophecy of negativity. And you become that energy that's going to welcome in other people that are like-minded or willing to beat you up emotionally as well. Mm-hmm. So I think it comes back to the detaching from the result to an extent. And just let it go. I know it's hard to say, but just let it go.
Yeah. Like, the journey is more important than the result?
To an extent, I would agree. I think that who you become in the journey is almost more important than the result itself. Mm. If, the Donald Trump's the art of the deal, if you want to go to the stars and you land on the moon, it's still a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
But who you become on that journey to the moon is ultimately what's most important, because that's the only thing you get to keep. Because in this lifetime, you rent everything. Everything is rented. Your health is rented because eventually you die. The body, the great physical condition you're in, that's rented as well. The popularity of the podcast, that'll die off one day. The vlog will die off one day. I'm no longer going to be a hockey player one day. Everything is rented. The only thing you keep is who you are.
Yeah, 100%.
How's that for deep?
No, that's great. And at the end of the day, you're still doing what you love doing. It's on a different level, but you're still living your dream that you had as a kid, I assume. And it's nice to see you speaking positively about what you went through and how you overcome these things, because you can keep beating yourself up over it and just quit everything, and maybe you wouldn't be here today as a pro hockey player, and maybe you wouldn't be recording a podcast and doing the vlogs. Maybe you'd be that guy on the construction, right? And maybe you'd be looking back at your life that, oh shit, if I had not quit back then, maybe I would be at a better place right now. And I think men, I know I was there at one point where I had this dream. I didn't know what it was necessarily, but now looking back, I'm like, holy shit, if I had just if I knew what I'm doing today, I would have made so many changes, or what I want to do today, I would have made so many changes in my teens and early 20s.
If I could cut you off there just for a split second.
Yeah.
A big part of that I found is not holding yourself accountable fully for stuff like that. And what I'm talking about is specifically, so let's say I make a bunch of mistakes a year and a half ago. I need to be self-aware enough to diagnose that and say, okay, these are the mistakes that I made, but I'm ultimately a different person right now. And have I made the mistakes now? Well, I can't beat myself up for that.
That's right.
I know they were made. Let's rectify it. But that's not the same person. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, we're if we're paying attention to who we are and trying to shape ourselves in the way that we want to A, feel about our own selves, and B, project ourselves to the rest of the world, whether it be in your business or your friendships, your relationships, your marriage, your whatever, you have to think of those in terms of lessons and move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I mentioned, like the person you are, learning from those lessons and those experiences, it's all you get to keep. You don't own anything else. You might as well make the most of the one thing you do own in this world.
Well, and like you said, you're a different person after each of those lessons, essentially, is what you're saying. Like, you're not the same person who made that mistake. You're a different person coming out of it.
Correct. And let's say I beat myself up over, hey, I handled my situation in college hockey very poorly. Okay, great. Very good to have some self-awareness and some personal responsibility. However, if I beat myself up over that, that's not fair to myself, because me in 2023 is not the same person from 2018. And nobody wins. I don't win because I haven't fixed I can't fix that problem because it's stuck in the past.
Yeah.
The team doesn't win because they don't get anything better. Nobody wins here. So what is the point of doing this?
Yeah. I wanted to ask you something. So you mentioned that you've gotten traded, and that there's lots of aspects or lots of reasons maybe that players get traded in the pro hockey life. And you also mentioned something along that, what your behavior is on the ice, off the ice, and what the fans just say about you or how they feel about you. How much, or when was it in your life when you kind of, because I assume first time you get traded, you feel bummed out, like, oh shit, like this is, like maybe they don't like me or whatever, right? Things are going through your mind. When was it? What was the point where you realized like this is just part of the hockey life, and you just have to learn to deal with the emotions that we're going through?
Honestly, that was something that I handled pretty well pretty early on. I tried to embrace the mindset of more glass half full. Okay, yes, my current team doesn't want me. Yeah, it sucks, but somebody else wants me.
Yeah.
And whether we're talking about dating somebody in a relationship or working for a team, if you don't want me, I'm good to be gone. Like, I don't need to be here. You don't want, like, everybody wins. I will leave. If somebody wants me, I'll be here. So if you're trading me away, good riddance, goodbye.
Yeah. If
you're trading for me, I'm coming with a smile on my face.
Yeah.
I get a little bit of shit in some of the stuff that I post. I guess you could say that I throw a little bit of shade sometimes in my former teams of like, hey, like I'm excited to not be there anymore. I'm happy to be with my new team.
Yeah.
Like, what am I going to do? Oh, I miss my old team. Oh, it was so good over there.
Well, then your new team is going to look at it like, oh, fuck, he doesn't want to be here. He still wants to be there, right? So it's the other way around then.
Guys, half in the door, half out. Like,
this
guy isn't for the team. You know what I mean? Like as far as I'm concerned, my old team, fuck my old team. They traded me away. I don't want to go back there.
Yeah.
I want to go to my new team.
And you still keep relationship with your close friends that you get along with in the team. And if it's a true friendship, then you will continue that relationship, right? But you don't necessarily need to be sad. You just kind of, I guess you look forward instead of looking back all the time, right?
There's a reason why the front windshield is significantly bigger than the rear view, my friend.
There you go. Oh, I like that.
Someone said that to me like 2 weeks ago, or something similar to that. That's the first time I'd heard it in the last. Now I've heard it from two people.
Yeah. You got to look at what's in front.
Yeah.
Because that moose coming off the highway is going to rack your life. If you're looking in the rear view, you're fucked.
So what's exciting you about the windshield these days? So you've got the podcast is clearly doing. Is it overwhelming for you to see how successful it's been? Not overwhelming negatively. Just is it? How does that feel for you? That's a big deal. Like to have that number of listeners. Like that's I don't know. I'd be overwhelmed by that.
Yeah, you have thousands of listeners relying on you to put out another episode. Like, that's a big pressure. That's almost a full arena, a smaller full arena. Or,
yeah, right.
Yeah, it is awesome that people are so invested that they care that much. And I mean, even the haters to come back and comment the negative shit they do 15 minutes after I uploaded it. It's like, you care, dude. Yeah, you care a lot.
You watched
listen to
and you
my
fucking
episode,
listened,
yeah.
and you'll do it again.
You were waiting. You're like, it's Sunday at 8:58. Only 2 more minutes before I get this shit all over him. You know, like what a loser he is for making money and living his dream playing hockey while I live in my mom's basement and I use her Wi-Fi to take this comment. But I won't tell him that.
And they're still engaging. They're still engaging with what you're putting out there. They're just not willing to. They're just poisonous. That's
YouTube don't care. That's the algorithm getting triggered right there. So thank you. You know what I mean? Like Dave tells me to stop talking about it. He's like, let them be. Don't talk about it. It's like I want to poke them because it's good for business.
Right?
100%.
As far as the success goes, my mindset's changed a little bit because at the beginning when I was getting a taste of success, it was like, this is awesome. You know, I'm putting up views. But now my mindset's more like, okay, I did it once. All right, now I got to do it again. Oh, we did 10,000 this week. I got to get 10,000 next. I got to get 15,000 next week. Now we need 20,000. You know, like I've never ever been satisfied with any of the success that we have had. It's always like, how do we get closer to the moon? You know what I mean?
Well, and successful people never are.
You know, I saw a saying the other day. I can't remember if it was Andrew Tate or Elon Musk. One of them said it. It was like, people that are lazy think they've worked hard enough, but people that are working hard are never satisfied.
No. Yeah. You can't be. You don't become great by settling.
Well, there's no, because I guess there's no like end game. Like, oh, I've reached that point now. I can sit back. No, like you reach that point and you're like, oh shit, there's a new goal, and you just keep moving up, right?
Well, and if you got there, you can get further.
Yeah.
Would be
if I had a goal that fit that criteria, it would probably be my YouTube channel, like the vlog itself, because I'm never going to hit 1 million subscribers ever, but I am 4,000 away from hitting 100,000, and 100,000 is my Stanley Cup as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
So if I get that, I don't really care about like what I post on YouTube anymore. After that, I might just post passion projects and things that I love from that point on, because it's like, what else am I working for?
Do you get one of those fun YouTube awards with the silver play button or whatever?
Yeah, the big one. I'll hang it up at my mom's house. I'll put that on the wall, maybe on the fridge. I'm sure she'll love that. But my attention will fully turn to the podcast. I mean, it essentially has at this point, but at that point, it'll definitely go full time to the podcast, like attention wise. But yeah, as far as success or satisfaction with the success goes, like I want more. Like I'm so hungry for it.
Yeah.
Trying to balance that in a healthy manner, I think is very critical too. Because it's like, okay, when it comes to content creation, there's gas and there's brake that needs to be applied sometimes. Like sometimes you got to go all gas, sometimes you need to apply a little bit of brake. Right? We're not going to go all gas in June when nobody gives a shit about hockey.
Yeah.
But come October through December, let's hammer that gas and let's really, really pump the stuff out.
Yeah.
So just learning the seasons, being aware of what you're doing, trying to be very cerebral about the process of the creation. Like, what am I actually putting out there? Am I trying to entertain? Am I trying to educate people? Am I actually giving somebody something that isn't selfish? There's nothing I hate more than listening to a podcast or watching a vlog where it's just the guy or gal, whoever, talking about themselves the entire time, stroking themselves off. Use my promo code, use my sponsors.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten nothing out of this video. I've gotten negative. I've gotten zero. Yeah. I'm not going to keep watching if that's the case. So I have to be delivering something to somebody at some point.
What does that mean for you to do that? Like, do you obviously get, you get negative reviews, fine, but do you get emails and comments and stuff that is encouraging and it makes you feel good and drives you forward, or is it just your own machine moving forward that is what motivates you?
Mostly my own machine. I think that there's a mission and a message I want to curate properly. I look at like 10-year-old me with my dad trying to become a goaltender, having no knowledge, and I look at that setup and that situation of like, how can I help with that? And I think as long as I stay focused, catering towards that, I'll always be helping people and providing value in some sense. It's difficult too, because creation wise, like you guys, like everybody else, I am driven by the destructive side of my ego to be special, unique, and different, and to be popular, I guess, if you want to call it that. Because why are you posting these videos online? Yes, I get a paycheck out of it, but I want to be the biggest podcast in the world. I want to be the biggest vlog in the world, like everybody else does.
There's a certain sneaky narcissism about it. Not that it is negative in the same way, but like I can see it getting out of hand, and like you have to keep yourself in check doing this.
Well, narcissism is defined by essentially the desire to be selfish over everybody else's needs. And you're narcissistic, I'm narcissistic, Tommy is, like everybody is on a scale. Now, do you have the full-blown personality disorder? Hopefully not, because you're fucked.
Yeah, then you're fucked. But
God himself cannot sink this ship. But on the spectrum is healthy to have some form of selfishness. And I think I'll be honest, myself included, anybody that is creating content does have at least a touch of narcissism. But to be aware of that, I think you have to. But I think you have to be very aware of that, and that's healthy, because then you don't let the dog walk you as opposed to you walking the dog. That makes sense?
And you get to choose, if you're aware of it, you get to choose what you do with it. So you get to choose if you want to use that for a positive result for others and yourself, or a negative. And like that, I know lots of people over the years that have used that for very poor
just become assholes.
Yeah. So you talked about like speaking to the 10-year-old you practicing hockey in the backyard with you. What is the message that you want to accomplish? What's the deeper line of messaging that you're trying to get across to people by doing what you're doing?
I think that life is difficult, especially as a man, it's very difficult, but just generally speaking, life is difficult and can be very unfair at times. I think that and my career is the perfect example, because you can follow it in real time and you can post date it and look back at what I'm talking to you about. If you show up every single day consistently with a good attitude, on time, good work ethic, you find yourself good mentors, and you try hard enough over a long enough period of time, you will accomplish your goals. Anybody that says that that isn't true has never followed all of those steps accurately and precisely. Because you'll hear people say, oh, life is unfair. It's unfair to you, but fair to everybody else around you.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned to you earlier, my asset is that I'm 6'5". That's the only God-given gift that I have to goaltending. The rest has been fucking hard work.
Yeah.
I haven't been the most skilled guy. I was never the greatest guy, even the greatest goalie on my teams a lot of the time. But I just didn't take no for an answer. I kept working hard, and I kept going to try to find that, oh, this door's open. This door's open. And we, being adaptable and flexible at the time.
Yeah.
And if you're a young kid, you can accomplish that. You can accomplish whatever goal you have in life. You want to be the greatest garbage man in North Vancouver. You can do that too. You can do anything you want in this lifetime as a man if you stick to those guidelines. It's not going to be fun sometimes. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be very mentally challenging. But that is what separates, and I think you guys would agree, it separates boys from men. The boys will sit at home and complain, ask for a handout, and complain how life is so unfair. The men will say, okay, I need to keep going. I don't feel like doing it today. I don't feel like going to the gym. I don't feel like doing this, that, and the other, but it has to get done.
Yeah.
Because how are you going to accomplish your goals otherwise? Nobody's going to do it for you. I'm not going to blow your podcast up. You're not going to blow mine up. You're not going to make me a better pro hockey player. I'm not going to make you a better husband, father, or person.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody has to do it, and it has to be me. So if you're young, listening to my message, I think is very beneficial. Anybody that says otherwise is either delusional or is rageful and resentful towards me, because I reflect that mirror back at them very painfully, obviously. Because I think they see all the things that I outline, and they're like,
well, and it's projections. It's people projecting. It's just a mirror. Everything's a fucking mirror.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Yeah.
So I hope. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Just finish your thought.
I was going to say, I think that I've been very net positive to so many people that have watched. I get lots of messages from guys playing in the CHL, NCAA, pro hockey, sharing their support for me, their agreements with my message, and that I've helped them in some way, shape, or form and built a lot of really good relationships out of it. I think there's a very select few that either they haven't fully tried to understand my message, or they're just not open to hearing it. Because I think if they did, they would come around very easily. Because it's not a bad message. It is a work hard, bust your bag, you get results. Yeah. Don't like it, then get fucked. Because life is not going to be very kind to you, and God will not smile down favorably on you with results and opportunities because you are lazy.
Yeah. What I wanted to touch on real quick is hockey parents. So you said that your dad was shooting pucks at you in boots and stuff, but I heard lots of comments from my friends who are hockey parents that have that one crazy parent in the crowd. They're like, well, my little Johnny is the best on the team and he's going to make the NHL. And meanwhile, little Johnny sucks ass, but like he's a good player, but he doesn't put in the hard work like what you just talked about. Like, to me, if you're going to make pro hockey, you got to be that kid that's going to be out in the backyard, helping dad build the outdoor rink and actually use it, or go to the community rink and skate there every day, shoot the puck, or I'm not sure what you do as a goalie. You just show up and kids are probably happy that, oh fuck, we have a goalie. That's awesome, right? But like,
fresh meat.
That's right. Yeah, it's like we can take slappers now. Fuck. But I've heard that quite a few times now from my friends that are saying like, yeah, there's all these parents that are pushing their kids who are, okay, let's be honest, they're not the best players. They just buy them the new equipment, the best equipment, and like they really just don't give a shit about it. Mm-hmm. Whereas there's the kids that will go practice every day, and maybe they just might not have the financial support or whatnot. Or
I think that's gotten so bad in the last 10 years, because when I played AAA hockey growing up, it was $5,000 for the season. Now that same AAA hockey in Winnipeg is $10,000 to $15,000 a year, and it's become more watered down since then, in my biased opinion. So it's become an even further elitist sport than it was before. And I think a lot of the parents that fall into those categories are the 1% to 5%, and they've never been told no before.
Yeah.
So they have no experience going through climbing hockey and playing professionally. They've never been told no before, because money's always bought things the way that they want it, on the terms that they want. And they actually don't understand what being a good hockey player and what it takes actually means. So they're very delusional in that sense. And they, as I mentioned, they expect that their money and their pull is going to take them all the way. Hence, parents paying $20,000, $30,000 to Regina Pats and other teams to draft them in the Western League draft. Not even to play, just to draft them, because they have this extra disposable money. And it really has bred this generation of delusion. And I think it shows in the results that Hockey Canada and to an extent Hockey USA have put up in the past couple of years. And those kids, I feel so bad for them, because their parents are living so vicariously through them. They think that their money is going to allow them to feel this sense of happiness through their child, when it's only going to make the child resentful, teach them no lessons and no tools along the way. Yeah. And when life comes, maybe they take over mommy and daddy's business, and they're making six figures out of high school. Great. But for the most part, it's going to be tough.
They'll fall
home. It's going to be a day where it's going to hit you, and it's going to smack you in the face like a train coming down the tracks.
Well, it's just not about the kid. Like the sight of doing something good for your child is totally not in their vision.
I will be honest. My dad was one of those crazy parents, and getting my dad away from the rink was probably one of the best things for my career. Is like, just stay the fuck home. So that was very necessary. And there's a lot of parents out there that are, and the only thing you can really do is just let them fail. Like, there's nothing like if you want to go swim in the ocean with no life jacket, or if you want to go do a road trip from Vancouver to Revelstoke to go skiing, and you're driving your 2-wheel drive Honda Civic, and I've told you to put winter tires on, have fun. I'll be here. You know what I mean? And I think that is also a demographic that my message really does not resonate very well with, because they're appalled at the fact that you have to work hard and that you can just be average and still make it. They don't like that.
Well, nobody,
to be honest, because I'm average. That's really what I am.
Well, nobody lazy wants to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, of course not, because the second you admit that you're lazy, that there's a problem, you have to take action.
You have to face it. You have to make a decision. Either I'm going to continue to be lazy, or I have to fucking change.
You know, I would honestly respect a lot of those people more if they said, you know what, right, I'm lazy. I don't want to work for
fucking lazy.
I'm not going to change it.
Yeah.
Okay. You're honest.
Cool.
I respect that at least.
And if you can verbalize that, then you have to face it, because that's coming right back at it's the mirror. Like, if you say that, cool, you're fucking lazy. You're only going to accomplish so much. You're comfortable there. All right. Well, at least I know where you stand. Like, and at least you're being honest.
Yeah.
And you're not delusional, because you have a sense of reality. Yeah. But if you sit there and are like, well, I want to make 6 figures a year, right out of university. I want the penthouse suite.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you doing to accomplish that? Well, I'm doing everything perfect. You're delusional. Yeah. You are not coming in my circle of people.
Yeah. Well, I went to university. I deserve those things. Yeah. Fuck you. You don't deserve shit. Nobody does. Get it. Go get it.
But I will not be laughing, but I will enjoy not having you in my circle of people, because you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And as we alluded to earlier, put yourself in a group of people that are like-minded, and they will make you better, and you will make them better, right? This analogy comes from Andrew Tate, but I love it so much. If all 3 of us are in a house of 10 dudes and everybody's doing 500 push-ups a day, are we not going to do push-ups? Are we really not going to do anything? We're just going to sit there playing video games. Oh, yeah. Fine, guys, have fun. No, we're just doing push-ups.
Yep. Yeah, that's a great reference or analogy.
Yep.
It brings, to some it will bring strength, to some it will provide guidance on their weaknesses, and those are both good things.
You are the energy that you welcome, and you are the energy that you surround yourself with. So you may not be surrounding yourself with it, but if you're welcoming it, you're going to be influenced by it as well.
Well, we appreciate you taking time to do this with us today.
Please give your show a plug and social medias and YouTube channel, anything you got. This is your time.
Yeah, Slangin The Bizkit Podcast every Sunday. Wheels and I do a new episode. You can check that out. The video version on YouTube is crisp. It doesn't look as good as your guys' studio, but it is crisp. The new vlog goes up usually every Sunday. I think Dave and I are taking 2 weeks off right now just for the holiday season, so kick back into things to the new year. My name is Travis Ridgen. Thanks for listening to the show. I play professional hockey, and I'm also a podcaster. And thanks for listening to the Quiet Riot Podcast.
Thanks a lot, Travis. We really appreciate you being here.
I really appreciate you joining. And as a thank you, we do have our own Quiet Riot mugs that after the show we'll exchange contacts, and we'll ship you one out to Vancouver.
It'd be awesome.
And just then once you get it, just take a selfie, and post it for us so we can see it.
Done.
We want to see, you don't have to post it publicly. Just send us a picture that you're using it. Follow us on Quiet Riot Show on Instagram, and shoot us an email if you have a question for Tim and I, or even if you have a question for Travis. You can shoot us an email at quietriot@gmail.com, and we can pass it on to Travis, or you guys can reach out to him directly on his social media.
Thanks a lot for listening, everybody.
Okay, bye. All Quiet Riot Show episodes have been recorded and produced by SuverMedia. If you think you have an idea for a podcast but don't have the space or proper equipment, please visit SuverMedia.com for more information. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please hit the follow button and leave us a review if the platform you are listening on allows you to do so. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Quiet Riot Show, and follow us on the Instagram page @QuietRiotShow. Please share this episode with others that may be interested in these topics. If you know anyone that would enjoy these topics, feel free to share our podcast with them. Also, let us know what topics you'd like to see covered in future episodes. Get in touch with us in the comments on our channel and social media, or send us an email to quietriotshow@gmail.com.